Welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again, where I have with me today Janet Gardner and Justin James. Janet and Justin are a husband and wife team that have been recording since 2017. And of course, prior to that, Janet was with she was the original lead vocalist for the all-female melodic rock band VIXEN, where she sold millions of records, great chart success, regular on MTV, of course, with a number of successful videos. Janet and Justin have just released their fourth full-length record together called No Strings. It's on the Pavement Entertainment label, which we love here. And they are set to take the music on the road. They are supporting Queensryche this Saturday at the Arcada Theater, where they met in St. Charles, Illinois. We won't forget that. With plans to do more dates, and we're going to talk about that in support of No Strings. And we're going to talk about that great record too. Justin, Janet, it is awesome to have you.
Scott, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for all your support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big fan from way back. It's great to see you guys here. Firstly, I want to ask about your health, Janet. I know it's 5 years, just about since the subdural hematoma.
Yeah.
And I just think about that, and that's not carpal tunnel surgery. It's a little more major, and I want to ask Justin too, because that's huge for somebody to go through, for a couple to go through even. Any side effects? Does it memory, headaches, anything?
Occasionally I'll get a little headache.
Okay.
This is where they did the surgery, right on this side of my head, and right behind this eye. Once in a while I'll get a little bit of pain. It doesn't last very long, and it's usually not that much. Wow. But there is occasionally a little bit of a shooting sort of sensation, like right behind my right eye. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know if there's any other effects, because, you are who you are and you go about your day, you go about your business. Right. So it's hard to tell. You would probably know more than I would.
Yeah, I could say that, from being her husband, she is so sharp and so on top of things that sometimes I wish she would be a little less sharp.
I hear that. I got one at home myself, so.
She's Janet. She's herself.
It's amazing. I mean, it is amazing that that little bit of side effect to something that major. So we're so thankful.
I just really could not feel more blessed. Yeah. I mean, it was a long road back, and that happened, and then we had like a crazy VIXEN summer. Mm-hmm. And then we moved from Connecticut here to Chicago. Mm-hmm. So that was crazy. And then the pandemic hit like a couple months after that. So it's been a lot of stuff, like unpleasant things going on. And Justin has been amazing through all of it. I have to say, it was a long time that I was not really myself. But I mean, right now, I feel as good as I have since then. Honestly, like today, now.
Yeah.
It's been tough. Been through some crap. Yeah. But it's so great to feel good again and to be back up, ready to get out and do shows. We've done a couple of albums since then, and
right. It's astonishing to me. It really is. It's like nothing ever happened. For us on the outside here, Janet's doing Janet. She's moving along. She's touring. She's playing shows. She's making music. Like nothing ever happened. It's incredible. You look
very thankful.
Sound great. It's a blessing. It really is. It's great to have you still with us and healthy.
Thank you.
Doing well, for sure.
Well, this guy, I couldn't have done any of this without him.
That's great. It's what it's all about, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. 85. The single, I see it out there. It's fantastic. The video's cool. You have another video out now, Living Free. That's the lead tune on the record. It's a rocker. A lot of this record rocks, which is really cool. um, I listened to 85, and what are your memories that go through your head with that song? When you're singing that, that's it takes me back when I hear it. It's got to be a walk down memory lane for you.
Totally is. It goes back to the early days of Vixen, and before any business people were involved. We were just hanging out on the Sunset Strip. We were going out to see bands. Some of the lines, the sound of our worn out boots hitting the ground every night. We'd go up and down the strip and poster and promote ourselves and see other bands. And we didn't care. We didn't have any money. We didn't care. As long as we could eat and afford a couple guitars and a duct tape couch.
Yeah.
We had a duct tape couch. We went to the thrift store, and that's what we had. It was really amazing, carefree. It was before any music business people were involved, and record companies and people who mess it all up. We were so innocent and naive and just having a ball.
Yeah.
Good time.
That's even after this.
Oh my God. It is after.
That's after, 85 is a year after that happened. Justin, I gotta ask.
I wanted to call the album 84 or the song 84, and that was my lyrics were all about that, but I got vetoed.
That was my question for Justin. Have you seen the film?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's huge in it.
I know. I remember back the USA Network or whatever, and late at night at midnight, they would run those kind of movies. And heck, I remember, sitting there and going,
those kind of movies.
Wait a minute. They look familiar. So yes, I saw that movie.
Yeah, my little horny 16-year-old self loved that. That was one of my favorites.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I still love the movie. And really though, that was, I didn't know the band. It was just a band in a movie until years later I found out that was actually, the beginnings of Vixen. And I look back, now I watch the movie. It's really, one of my favorite, maybe one of the worst movies ever made, but that's okay. What you got any memory of that, Janet? Any memory of the movie? You do? Good memories?
Totally good time.
Yeah.
I just talked about this. It's funny because nobody brings this up. It's very rare, but this is 2 in a row. So I was just thinking about it, and we had a really good time. We made the most of it. There was a lot of hurry up and wait, wait for your turn to do your scenes. We got along great with all the actors. They were interested in who we were and what we were about, and we were interested in them and their stuff. It was fascinating and interesting and fun. And we had guitars on the set, and we had some acoustic guitars, so we would play some Beatles songs and they'd sing along. The actors, they'd come in and hang out with us. It was a blast.
That's cool.
It was great stuff. Even though it was a funky movie, we didn't care. We weren't trying to be, Academy Award winning actors or anything. We were a band, and we got paid.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's cool. And speaking parts and stuff like that, which was really cool.
We got union
paid
because we did have speaking parts.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool. And like I say, I do love the movie. I really do. I don't know if I should admit that, but I do.
A lot of people say that. We just filmed a documentary for Paramount Plus. And the director of that, we had a whole conversation about that movie too. There's little clips of the movie in the documentary. And he was saying the same thing. He was like, and he's a director now. He's real deal. And he was talking about, he misses those kinds of movies.
Yeah, it's a cute little movie.
Now it seems so innocent. Back then it was like, ooh,
right.
it's like a titty movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
now it's like, it's nothing. That's
yeah.
it.
Really, really. Uh,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. You mentioned a documentary. Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah, it's for Paramount Plus and it's called I Wanna Rock, Chasing the 80s Metal Dream or something like that. There's
Okay,
some cool people in it. It's Dee Schneider, Kip Winger, Snake Sabo, John
nice.
Corabi. Um, who else?
I don't know. I think they pretty much nailed it on all those.
Tammy
Oh, okay,
Down,
that's right.
from Faster Pussycat,
Hmm.
uh, and us.
That's cool. That's cool. So
But
it's an 80s hair metal kind of rock documentary.
it is, yeah.
Nice.
It's a three-part, and I think each episode's about an hour, right?
Yeah.
So it's about 3 hours of stuff, and it goes through everybody's life and career and the ups and the downs and the good and the bad and what everybody's doing now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out in August. We don't have any
Excellent.
hard dates yet, but it's coming out soon. It's
Very
done.
cool. Very
Yeah,
cool. More stuff happening for you.
more stuff.
That's
Woohoo!
pretty great. It's pretty great. You gotta have an encyclopedia full of this kind of stuff, memories and stories and all kinds of stuff from that period. Do you have a greatest memory, one that sticks with you from the Vixen days?
There's a few. I think one of the biggest ones was our first arena show opening for the Scorpions in Europe,
Mm,
in Copenhagen. And, there was 10, 12,000 people there, an arena full of people.
yeah.
And the lights went down and the crowd roared. And we were getting ready to walk on stage. I nearly died. I was paralyzed for a minute with just goosebumps and my whole body was just buzzing. I was like, oh my God, it's really happening. This is really happening. And a couple songs into the first song, I was still, I think, in, oh. But then, you settled in, take a big breath, start to get into it, and it was amazing. That
Right,
whole tour was, the stuff you dream about.
right, right.
And I'll never forget it as
Yeah.
long as I live. No matter how many brain surgeries I have, that one's going to stick.
That's cool.
Sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, of course, there's the in 2004 you guys did the VH1 bands reunited thing. And I see that and I wonder if, we would be here talking today. Because in that you have, your son's just born really. You're out of the music business. Uh it's, you were seemed kind of done at that point. You were, still in school, I think, just finishing up maybe, uh
Right.
for to be the dental hygienist.
Mm-hmm.
um, if that doesn't happen, do you meet Justin? Do you do the records you're doing now, or would you just be in Connecticut as a dental hygienist and never pick up the microphone again?
No, I think, you know, once you're bit by the music bug, it doesn't go away.
Yeah,
It doesn't,
yeah,
and you
I
need to have other things in your life. You really do. I know I do. You can't live on that alone. Just to be on the road endlessly and have no, commitments to people and no grounding and no, you need that too.
mhm,
So at that time I was very focused on that family and getting other things in my life that I wanted for a long time, but was too focused on music and being on the road and all of that. So no, who knows exactly
right,
what turns in life make certain other things happen, what your destiny is or whatever. But I definitely would have revisited music
yeah.
repeatedly.
I can't imagine you're not singing,
Yeah.
or at least. Um, I want to start talking about No Strings. I want to start with the cover art. Did you guys have anything to do with it, or does the artist come in and say, hey, what do you think? Sure, that's fine, and here we go. It is a digital world. Not everybody has the cover art and holds it. Not even people don't even look at it anymore sometimes. But it's fabulous. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd that work for you?
our art guy, who's done all four of our albums so far, worked on this one, and we just as we did with the last one too, we just said, come up. We gave him an idea. Actually, I think we said something about a marionette, and let him just run with it. And he came back with 4 or 5 different rough draft ideas. And for me, this was the one from the beginning. It reminded me of the closest example I can come up with is like a UFO album from the 70s. It doesn't just jump right out at you, but it makes you think a little bit. And I think he did such a great job with it that I love the vintage vibe to it, and the guy sitting there with the little puppet and the strings are on fire. And
Yep.
yeah, I thought it was really, really cool. So, I mean, we gave him a little idea of what we wanted, but our guy, Eric, who does our artwork, just knocked it out of the park on that. That was all his doing.
Man, I agree. And, I'm so glad you called it No Strings too, because that is my favorite track on the album.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I just so love that song. And this whole record is great. From beginning to end, it has great flow. I love the sequencing of it, which is, something, again, not everybody thinks about these days. Sequencing the album, that was a thought here, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's really hard to pick. When we were done with this, we had 12 songs, and we kind of knew what we wanted to start with on the album. But, you get to track 3, 4, and up, where do you go from there? And you listen over and over again to figure out what gels and what flows into the next song. And I think we did a pretty decent job with the track list out there. And it's funny, even when I put it in my car to listen to, because I do CDs still, because nothing sounds better to me than a CD, blows away a compressed MP3 or streaming. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I have a hard time, because I'm so used to pressing a button on my phone for the song that I want to select, that if I go to listen to something like Set Me Free, I'm thinking it's track number 4, but no, it's really track number 6. And it's like, wow, okay, cool. But yeah, no, sequencing is so important, and you lose that in the streaming world that we're in now, where you can bounce around songs so much. You don't get that flow of an old album or something.
Yeah, and I think people don't really give it enough about, like, for me, buying an album back in the day, you pick up that needle and you listen all the way through the A side, flip it over, you listen all the way through the B side.
Yep.
And I would do that many, many times before I would even pick favorites, and then go, ooh, I like song number 3 here or whatever. But I mean, people are so quick to just blow past something that doesn't catch them right away, that I think that's sad. It's missing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of songs are growers, and if you blow it off after one listen, well, you might be missing something.
And I think that, the sequencing can lift up some songs too, where you're in a certain thing and then this happens, and it's that song is perfectly timed. It makes the song better when it's in the right sequence,
Yeah,
sure. And when it's in the wrong sequence, because we know when we screw it up, because the tempos feel funny.
Yeah,
you'll go from one song, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this one's so slow. It drags. So you got to be careful that you don't do that. You go from something that, you're like, yeah, and then the next song you're like, it drags. But if you put that song after a ballad, then it feels like it's picking back up. So all those kinds of things you got to be sort of aware of.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you guys are too. I'm an old school listener. I went from 1 to 12. That's because that's what you do.
Cool.
I like it. Thank you.
I mean, you have to do that.
And I appreciate you doing that too. I mean, we spent so much time on this album that we were driving ourselves crazy because we literally dissected everything that was going into this one. And, you know, it's nice to hear that you did that, you know, because you get it. You understand the whole picture of it then.
Yeah. I guess it's because I'm an old guy, but you know, that's what I used to do.
No, my 20-year-old son does that.
Oh, that's awesome.
20-year-old son will do that. He'll buy a new CD and he'll listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Start to finish. So there are still people who will do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. Tell me the writing process for you guys. Now, you know, I mean, you got the studio in the house, which, you know, can be great most times, right? But it can be a hindrance as well, I would imagine. You know, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you say, I still don't like what we did, and you're down there changing everything. It's that easy.
Yes.
Right.
You know, so, you know, how's that work for you with the writing process? Are you writing together? You know, like, Justin, do you come up with a riff or, you know, music and then just hand it over to Janet? She does her thing. You know, how's that work for you guys?
That's usually how it's. I mean, with this album especially, I would come up with the initial riff, the initial idea. And if Janet liked it, usually I could tell pretty quickly on her face if it was something she was going to like or she wasn't going to like. Well, then I know I got her attention. Then she's sucked in. And then once that happens, I can't get her to leave it. And then she starts adding her touches to the songs and, you know, coming up with the bass lines or, you know, keyboard parts and stuff like that. And then it just grows from there. And then usually I'll jump on her case to start writing some lyrics to the songs. And yeah, and then I'll jump in occasionally with the lyrics just to help out, you know, if she gets stuck on something. But yeah, that's usually how it goes. And you nailed it on the head. I mean, there's a lot of nights where it's 3 a.m. and these ideas, that's when they're being born. You know, you're sitting there, you can't sleep, you're tossing and turning, or you have a melody in your head. So, you know, you come down in the studio and you try to lay something down. And before you know it, 3 hours have passed and, you know, you're so engulfed in it. But it's great. It's definitely got there's more ups to it than downs. But the downside is doing everything yourself. Sometimes you can overthink it and you can do too much. And, you know, we had a couple songs in this album that there were 50 different mixes of, you know, and then you go, oh, that was better 10 mixes ago. And, you know, you kind of go back and then you hit a point where you set yourself a deadline. You say, okay, by next, you know, the 15th of this month, the whole album, it's mixed, it's done, whatever the outcome, that is what it is. And you got to walk away from it because you will keep going and potentially making things worse.
And that's got to be tough to just walk away. You know, every artist that I've ever talked to is a perfectionist, and they don't, you know, you ask them a year later about the record they made, and there's things they would change. You know, it's you know, so yeah.
At some point, you gotta let it go.
Yeah,
it's hard. It really is because, you know, we kept giving ourselves deadlines and we go way over the deadline every time. You know, it's like, what's the point? We can't.
But the cool thing is that I find is 9 times out of 10, when you do walk away from it and you say you're done, you go back and you listen and you go, oh, that was right. And then whatever that 1% is that isn't right, well, that's what makes playing it live cool, because then you get to throw those little touches in and twist it up a little bit.
Yeah. That's a great way to think about it, for sure. For sure. Now you have, you know, Justin, you have the legendary original voice of Vixen there for singing what you write. That's got to impact how you write. How much do you experiment? Like, you know, I mean, you've written for a lot of different things. So, you know, when you get something that's a little maybe out of the Janet style, you know, you write a Slayer tune for her, you know what I mean? You know,
that sounds like fun.
Right. But, you know, how much do you experiment? You know, like, all right, this one's not exactly Janet, but you take it to her, right? Do
Yeah.
you take it to her? Do you play around like that a little bit? And Janet, how much do you uh you know accept and push away? How much do you like to experiment?
What I think is funny with that is I'm, we joke about this, but like the 80s is more my wheelhouse, believe it or not, when it comes to like the music that I like. And she is more of the 70s rhythm and blues influence.
That is funny that the stuff that he writes sounds a lot more like Vixen.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I write doesn't sound anything like that.
Exactly. And that's what's going to your question there is like when I come up with ideas, I almost know I'm more confident if it's kind of out there and different that's what she's going to like than the traditional stuff that's been, done before. And I think because it's different, it's fresh. And
yeah, that's what inspires me is something that's got a little something special to it.
Nice.
You can write generic guitar riffs all day long, but he'll come up with stuff that's like, ooh, if it gives me that, ooh, there's something in there that inspires me, then that's when we're off and running.
Yeah, and you listen to the record, you get that. Really, I mean, this isn't something that I've really heard. I mean, Janet's your voice. Obviously, we're going to have that connection. That it's that sound. But it's not Vixen, not really by any stretch, not for me. I hear all of those little things. It's really it's pretty cool. We get something different.
Well, and No Strings is a perfect example of that happening. Justin was just messing around. He wasn't presenting me anything. He was just playing that opening bit. And I just fell in love with it. I just came down the stairs and go, what is that? Did you, is that from something that he's like, no, I just came up with it. I'm like, I love it. I am in love with it. And so, that once that spark ignites, then poof, there's going to be a song in the next couple of days.
That's
sure.
so cool. I can see that too. And that's such a arms open, soaring kind of thing. It's just I want to fly around the room when I listen to it. It's just
nice.
Cool
thing.
Thank you.
And
awesome. And I'm just grateful that I can do that. I can like a song like No Strings or other songs. And how cool is it that the voice that I know I'm hoping is going to go over, this is her voice. And very, very lucky that, because I can't sing to save my life. So
it's not true. He just won't. But when he tries and does it, he does a great job.
Yeah, we'll hear that eventually down the road, I hope. Right?
No, he sang a bunch of the backing vocals on this album more than he had ever before. Yeah. And you did great. They sound really good and it adds something. If I just stack my voice up, it has a sound. But if you throw him in there, at least on a couple of the parts, it changes it enough to make it more interesting. So you're hired.
Thank you.
Not getting out of it.
Any similarities for you, Janet? Like with getting Justin, writing with Justin, and writing like you did in Vixen. Is there anything similar? It seems very different, a very different dynamic. Is there anything similar?
Well, I am not one to sit in a room with a bunch of band members and write. I'm a one-on-one person. Right. So yeah, I mean, it is different for obvious reasons. We have a different kind of chemistry. Right. But I spent a lot of time with Cher, just coming up with stuff for Rev It Up. We had a pretty successful run there, and we had drank a lot of wine, made prank phone calls, did stupid stuff, laughed a lot, and we had a lot of fun writing those songs. So that was a good connection. And Gina Style, we became very, very good friends, and we enjoyed writing together. There was a lot of productivity. I probably wrote 50, 60 songs with her over the course of a couple of years. And that was great too. But none of it compares to what Justin and I have. It's a once in a lifetime bond and chemistry that, I mean, we never get stuck and we never get hurt because we trust each other.
And in most part, we have so much fun doing it. I mean, and that's why I think we've been able to spit out so many albums so fast. We enjoy it.
It's very satisfying and nothing but positive.
Yeah.
That's great.
If we're writing sucks, we just laugh and just,
Who can say that in a band, right?
Right, yeah.
We're just having fun, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, in the past, Janet, you played bass and drums on the record. So I know at least on the self-titled. So how did it work for No Strings? Who am I hearing?
Mostly me.
Yeah, I did a little bit of the drums and bass, but most of it is you. And we've always kind of had the same pattern. I think from day one, I'll do the majority of the guitar stuff. And Janet will handle the keyboards and the bass and the drums on the songs. And I think that's what also makes us who we are and the sound that we are, is that we have our little niches and our little specialties. And then once that's all done, then I'll jump in the mixing and the mastering end of it.
I mean, it's not always completely the way it goes, but that's
right.
That's sort of a typical progression of things. Sometimes he'll do some of the drums, then he'll get frustrated and going, I don't want to do this. You do that. And then, sometimes I'll play some guitars and then we'll figure out, if I'm not playing it, he's usually the one to go, I'll go, you got to redo. I came up with this guitar part. I kind of like the part. Would you redo it? And he'll go, actually, no, because it's your part and I wouldn't play it like that. It would be different. So keep it, leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm always wanting him, no, I suck, you need to fix it. And a lot of times he's going, no, it has your character. And if I play it, it won't. Yeah. So, and it's the same with him doing bass parts. Sometimes it's like, I would not have done that part, but I like what you did. So you finish it. You keep playing the bass on this one. So it all kind of depends, but yeah, we do it all in-house.
Yeah, it is. You guys are so fortunate to be so talented. It's incredible. You guys do it all, both of you, which is, wow, what an ideal situation. I mean, it's crazy. I listened to this and, these drum parts aren't, hi-hat, snare kind of stuff, basic stuff, really. I mean, no, it's not Neil Peart and it's not, a progressive thing, but it's more than basic. This isn't, amateur hour. You guys are accomplished at all of this, the bass lines, the drum parts, the singing, the guitar, it's
well, we're songwriters first and musicians second.
So that's just crazy.
What we strive to do is make the song work. So we don't have to be virtuosos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are.
No.
But musically, I'm certainly not. But when I have something in my head, I've learned to get it onto the song. Yeah. That's the extent of my goals as a musician, is making the song work.
And when she gets focused on something and she has something in her head, I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, she can be sitting here in the studio and a plane can crash outside in the backyard and she wouldn't even budge and notice it because she is so zoned in on it.
Cool.
And hours go by. We both do this. Like, if I'm doing something else, Justin will be down here and I'll come down and I'll go, you've been here for 5 hours. And he'll be like, no. And he'll look at the time and go, oh, yeah, I have. It's so easy to get lost in it. I love your animals. I see your kitty cat.
I know. I keep staring at your dog.
It's a zoo over here.
What a cutie.
We got all kinds of animals.
We're animal crazy too.
Yeah.
Jazzy, where's our doggy?
Is it? I hate asking these things. Jazzy?
Yes, Jazzy.
Okay, because I don't know when they don't stay around forever. I know that.
Right.
And I hate to ask if, it's still Jazzy. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jazzy.
Jazzy.
Yeah. Oh, here she comes.
I hear her.
Awesome.
Come here, sweetie.
Come here.
Come see how to
There she is.
Hi. Look,
I love
Jazzy,
it.
pretty doggy on the screen.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
That's great.
And it's funny because when we're down here working on music, she's usually laying right on the couch.
I swear she loves it when we get into an album and we dive into it because, yeah, she'll be sitting here like this on my lap and I'm sitting here trying to mix the song and she's not budging.
She has to be in the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean it's so, it's got to be a great comfort too. Is like I say, you're at home, you got your animals, you got each other. There's a certain zen to that.
Absolutely.
Totally. Having all of this here at our home with our family, our kids, our dog, our comfort zone. It's the best. I mean, there are moments where if the studio time clock was ticking, who knows? We might get through things faster.
Right.
But, we're not in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's almost like we don't want to because we do enjoy it so much. And, instead of going out to the movies or spending money going out someplace, we lock away down here and we're just as happy. We're in our happy place.
That's just awesome, man.
And we entertain each other down here too.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. It's so cool. Now you guys, you got a show with Queensryche this Saturday.
Yes.
It's funny. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I see in 2018, it's when you right after your surgery, I think, Janet, the Monsters of Rock cruise. Vixen does the show with a bunch of different singers. One of them just happens to be Todd LaTorre, who you'll be playing with.
Oh, he did Edge of a Broken Heart.
Yeah, he did,
and he killed it, and it pissed me off. Now I never want to sing it again.
Maybe you sing it with him. That would be pretty cool.
That's it. I'm gonna drag him out on the stage and make him relive that moment where he had to sing the chick song.
That was pretty cool. That was really.
He was great. Danny Vaughn did How Much Love.
Right. I was going to say, Justin's got a little tie in there.
Yeah.
Nailed
it. And it was actually kind of cool. We got Danny because we just did the Monsters of Rock cruise a couple months ago. And we got Danny to come up and sing with us. And we did the Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks song, Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Cool. And it was freaking awesome. I was sitting there playing guitar while her and Danny were exchanging lines, and I was getting goosebumps. It was insane.
That's cool. Man, that's some singing chops right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Justin,
yes.
You've worked with a million bands, right? You've done session stuff, you've done producing, all kinds of stuff. You're working with anybody? We're doing anything other than what you guys do together?
Over the course of this album, I did write and record for some other artists. Not a lot, but
just
there.
Session stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's always fun. It's always great. I actually did some stuff with our drummer Richie because he's been working on an album, and it is fun and it is cool. I actually played Tim King from Soil. He's got a new death metal band out, and they had asked me to play some lead guitar on that. And wow, was that a trip for me doing death metal on there? So yeah,
you didn't bring any of those to Janet though, right?
He killed it. He nailed it.
Actually, it was funny.
He did a really great job.
She wanted to take a couple of those songs, but I had to. No. But yeah, and I love doing that stuff. It's fun. It's great because I do enjoy the post production end of things just as well, not as much as writing and performing. I mean, that's number one, hands down. But I do enjoy that part of it too. But this is where my heart is. This is my home. This is my place, and it's my comfort zone because it's me. It's my songs. It's what we're doing together. But what's fun about doing stuff like that is you play different styles from time to time that you wouldn't play in. And as a songwriter, like Janet said, that's first and foremost, we're songwriters. Mm-hmm. It helps open the doorway to different styles and different kind of music. Right before Janet and I had met, I ventured off and I was playing with a country artist. And, all the rock guys were doing it for a while. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a shot and try a country band. Hated it. It was very talented artist, but wasn't my thing. But I learned a lot from it, and I learned different techniques and different tricks that I've been able to incorporate in what we do here and there, but make it more of a rock thing than an old fashioned country thing. So it's good. It's fun, but this is what I want to do. This is what I love to do, and I'm proud of what we do. And I hope we continue to make more.
Yeah, as you should be proud. This is a great record. It's really, I mean, all the records seem to get more comfortable. Like they're just fitting together so well now. I mean, you guys just got it rolling so beautifully. It's really, it's a great record. Tell me what touring looks like. I mean, obviously, I know you got the show coming up this weekend. You got some other dates listed. I know that. So what's the overall touring picture look like?
We're going to be fairly busy this summer. I think we've got about 10 or 11 shows planned. And most of them are fly. It's actually funny because before the Arcata show came up, we live here in Chicago, yet we never seem to play here in Chicago. We're always doing the fly dates and going everywhere. So we actually got presented with the Brower House in Lombard, which I've never been to before, but I know a lot of people that have been there.
Yep.
Have you been there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And, so we were like, oh, awesome. Our friends, our family, everybody can come to it. We were so excited. Then all of a sudden the Arcata came up. So even cooler. And then Island Lake, we're going to be playing with Sebastian Bach and Quiet Riot. So we've got a couple shows that are local, which are great. It's always great when you can get in your car and drive to the gig instead of going to the airport and doing that.
Right. And
then we've got a couple of festivals. We're going to be at the New England Rock Fest in October with Firehouse and Heaven's Edge. That'll be great.
It's in Norwalk, and my son was born there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, very so cool. It's like a bit of a homecoming for us.
It is kind of a hometown gig.
Yeah, another one, and we haven't been back there since we moved here, so we're really excited to go back there. We've got a couple dates with Firehouse too. I think we're going to actually be right by Niagara Falls with those guys, which that's cool in itself to go to Niagara Falls.
Totally.
And we're about 95% locked into going back down under to Australia at the start of the new year for a couple of weeks for a tour with our buddies in Midnight City. So
nice.
Yeah, fingers crossed that all comes together, which it sounds like it will, and we'll be posting those dates shortly.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. I think about the Vixen when you left Vixen, the second time.
Third time.
Third time.
Okay. We're gonna get technical here.
But it's always with respect, and it seems amicable, and obviously there's some things that were disturbing and some things didn't work out, but you guys seem like you could sit in the same room together to this day and still be adults and you really love each other. It seems that way. So I'm thinking, would you guys are touring, they're touring, would you ever do a show with Vixen if it was Vixen and Firehouse and you guys did a support or something?
I don't know.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
It would be weird because we do play a few Vixen songs.
Right.
I mean, the majority of our set is our material, but we do play, I have to. People
right.
can't leave without singing Edge of a Broken Heart. People
Right.
boo. People get mad. People are upset. So, we do a few Vixen songs, so that would be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. People would either have to hear those songs twice or we wouldn't get to play them. And, I mean, I don't care. I wouldn't go, no, if somebody cooked that up in their brain, a promoter or something, why don't we have, the Janet Gardner thing and then do a Vixen show? Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, it would be more likely for something like that to happen on like one of the cruises or something.
Right.
So many bands. Like I think there was 2 versions of the Bullet Boys on one of the cruises. something like that, where who's going to play what songs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say no.
But I love that. I love the fact that you guys are all adults, and because I love them.
Well, we spent some of the best years of our lives together, and it's sad when you see these other bands who they did too.
Yep.
And now they're just flinging mud like crazy, and they're so adversarial. I just, it's not worth it. What is?
Well, I've heard you say it.
All of these great moments that you had in your life by being all bitter and petty. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I've heard you say in other places that you take the money out of it. And that's so important that it's not a concern for you to you put that second, you put your artistry first, and that's that because that's what it's that's how this mudslinging happens. And I think about these bands, they grew up together, they played in the garage before they made it. They were a team, superheroes, and now they all hate each other and they travel separately and they don't talk to each other. That's just heartbreaking to a fan.
It's sad. And that there's petty crap.
Yeah.
There's small things
that
are creating this big wedge. And that's sad.
Yeah. I so admire that you don't let that get in the way. And that's it's a wonderful thing. Because as fans, we hate when mom and dad fight. You know what I mean? It's we love to see harmony and hear harmony as well. So
and artists supporting other artists.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard enough.
That's the bottom line.
It's hard enough without the fighting, the infighting.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. The guys in the band, Richie Rivera, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Anthony, and I'm going to screw up his last name, Jamignani.
Very close. You're better than
You're better than me, and I've known the guy forever.
He's called him like Jumanji or something.
Jumanji, just the other day. Movie. And I've known Anthony for 10 years now, and
I think he pronounces it Geminani.
Yeah, I just can't roll my tongue like that. But yes, yep.
Yes, okay. Those are our band members, and they are so awesome.
And you are taking them on these dates, right? They are not acoustic dates?
Correct. There's a couple. I think there's 2 acoustic dates in the schedule that we posted. The one at Side Outs with Sebastian Bach and Quiet Riot. And then there's one of the shows with Firehouse that we're doing is acoustic
the New York
as well.
One.
The New York
Tonawanda.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, the rest of the shows that we have booked is the full band, and we are so excited about it. And those guys are coming into town on Friday, and we can't wait to see it. We've missed them so much.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, that was part of what was so sad, is just not being able to get together and play shows with them.
Yeah.
I mean, we took advantage of, our time down here, but
Right.
I mean, it's we miss them. It's they're family to us now.
And we have so much fun, especially when we're on the road and we're doing our adventures together.
Yeah.
It's great. And obviously we're married, so we're always together. And those two, what's great is those two get along so good, that they can just go off on their own. And, they're a blast. Just two, we couldn't ask for better bandmates.
That's cool.
Really good people.
Yeah.
That's so great, man. I mean, you're so fortunate, really.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So many bands don't have that kind of harmony, and chemistry together. So, man, I am looking forward to it. Definitely. I look forward to seeing you guys. Where can everybody find the dates? JanetGardnerMusic.com? Is that
very good?
That's probably the best place. Because that'll also, that has all the information, updated merch, shows, what's going on. But then of course we have the Gardner James Facebook page that we try to keep up. We're not very good with social media, but we do our best to try to stay on top of it. We're on Instagram, but probably next to the Janet Gardner Music, the Gardner James on Facebook would be the second best place to look. And of course, YouTube for videos and
absolutely. Yeah. And it'll all be linked below. Man, I love you guys. It's so great to have you. And yeah, I so look forward to seeing you guys there.
So we're going to see you in a few days.
Yeah. How cool
awesome.
Is that? All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for the music. Thanks for all the love, man. I appreciate it. And I will see you soon.
Yep. See you in a couple of days. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys. All right. Bye-bye.